This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
All right, come on in. Don't be shy. It's the show that never sleeps, at least when it comes to agriculture. Hi, everybody. So glad you could join us for another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. We've got a lot to tell you about since we last saw you. Coming up, some of Georgia's top young talents invade Perry for the annual 4-H FFA Livestock Show. Mark Wildman will have a full report on who walked away with what. Also on the program, we're cooking up the ultimate omelet with Marsha Crowley. Meals from the field featuring Georgia fresh eggs.
And speaking of fresh, who doesn't like fresh produce? Meet the mayor and the man behind the Lovejoy City Garden and how it's providing food to those in the community who are less fortunate. All this and more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Well, the Georgia Junior National Livestock Show brings 4-H and FFA students from around the state to Perry to compete and show off all the hard work it took to raise their livestock projects. Once again, Georgia Farm Bureau was proud to be part of the show and understands the important lessons that are learned from livestock projects. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has that report.
At the Agri Center in Perry, 4-H and FFA students were out in large numbers to compete in the Georgia Junior National Livestock Show.
We'll have 2,000 people here. There was 1,400 hogs that showed up in the Market Hog Show. 700 or 800 steers, heifers, 200 or 300 steers. We had our breeding does show for the first time here. 150 or so showed up. So we had about 2,000 people here.
Livestock projects are extremely good life lessons for students and gives them an opportunity to not only learn how to care for an animal, but also how to learn about the ag industry as well.
They may not all grow up to be producers, but they're all going to be consumers. And if they learn about the value of animal agriculture and the reality to be able to dispel any myths or bad information about what it means to grow food animals, that's a great thing. That's a great thing for our future and for this industry.
Georgia Farm Bureau is proud to be a part of the show, and President of the Georgia Farm Bureau, Gerald Long, handed each grand champion their first place check.
I think it's just unbelievable the responsibility and the dedication that these young people has to have in order to show these animals, because they have to work with them. A lot of cases they'll be purchasing calves or something now for next year this time. So it's almost a 365-day-a-year job for them to be with their animals, to learn the personalities of the animals, to groom them, to feed them, and that leads into responsibility.
In the breeding heifer competition, Morgan McDaniel of Jackson County 4-H took home first prize. She has spent countless hours preparing for this day, and her livestock project really caught the judge's eye.
She's stout, she's sound, she can move good, she has a clean front end.
Winning an event like this cannot be done without tremendous support from family.
I thank them for all the help they gave me with showing cows for the past 3 years.
Over in the New South Arena, Abby Moore of Perry FFA received her grand champion check from Georgia Farm Bureau. She also wanted to thank her family for the support.
They go out to the farm with me every day and help me walk my pig and feed it and everything. So without them, I couldn't have done this.
At the Commercial Dairy Heifer Show, the competition was very strong, but there could only be one grand champion, and that was Brent Bohannon of Coweta County 4-H, who really understands what the judges are looking for in a good commercial dairy heifer.
The depth of rib and maybe the straightness and the cleanness of her back.
Showing this animal is not always easy, though.
She wants to go ahead of me, and she wants to keep on moving. She doesn't want to stop.
And what is his favorite part of showing livestock?
Getting to go different places and see other people.
Over at the Market Steer Show, Luke Mobley of Colquitt County 4-H was handed a $5,000 check from Georgia Farm Bureau for his winning steer. Luke really understands how to get his project ready for competition.
You have to feed them, you have to wash them, and you have to take care of them. Most of all, you have to love them.
The crowd at the Market Gilt competition saw Britton Herndon of Toombs County 4-H win among many other competitors. He has a very simple strategy for raising a good animal.
You just buy him in the walking lot. It works out.
And finally, Jarrett Baldwin of Hart County 4-H took home the grand champion prize in the breeding ewe competition at his last event before he heads off to college.
A lot of hard work. I'd like to thank my family. If it wasn't for them, I certainly would not be in this ring today or have the success I did. It's the friends and family and the values you learn, the feed and hard work, the breeder of the animal, and it's just a great way for me to end my career.
Congratulations to all of the grand champions and all of the students who competed. The future of Georgia agriculture looks bright. Reporting from Perry, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
In other ag news, over 100 products submitted and some of the toughest competition ever. Those words directly from the coordinator of the Flavor of Georgia contest. In the end, however, it was Southern Bake Pie Company of Gainesville and owner Amanda Wilbanks taking home the grand prize. Evidently, the judges wowed by her caramel pecan pie. The 33 finalists were rated on qualities including innovation, use of Georgia theme, market potential, and flavor. Wilbanks also won first place in the confections category. And of course, the country has just celebrated National Ag Awareness, and Georgia has certainly done its part.
The occasion observed each March has become a who's who event of Georgia ag leaders. Just a short distance from the state capitol, Governor Nathan Deal and Ag Commissioner Gary Black helped celebrate the $74.3 billion economic contributions and continued growth of the state's farming industry at the Georgia Depot. It's all part of the National Agriculture Week. Commissioner Black told us it is a great way to raise awareness of agriculture.
Without a doubt. And of course, we can all have our, there's a great Farm Bureau Day at the Capitol. There's a great Cattlemen's Association Day at the Capitol, and we have Agribusiness Council breakfast. But this is a day when all the family's together. And so when you look at the magnitude of, you know, the tax base that we provide for the state, the influence in our communities, the relationship with the universities, you know, all that comes together as the family comes together to express how important all this is for, you know, for our future. And legislators, they look forward to this day. It's a great place for us to have a good impression.
This will be my third year coming to this Ag Appreciation Day. It's always a great event. We, at the fruit and vegetable booth, we pass out veggie pizzas to kind of help remind kids that vegetables, yes, you can cook and steam them, but they're also can be found on your pizza and things along those lines.
Samantha Kilgore with the Georgia Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association said from her perspective, the experience helps educate school students and FFA members about the benefits of agriculture in America.
Yeah, I think you've got two different groups. You know, you've got a lot of youth groups like 4-Hers, FFAers, school groups that are going to come through, and they're going to get a wide view of the agriculture industry in the state and get exposed to a lot of different ways to be creative with agriculture, to cook with it, and all that kind of stuff. And then you also have your legislators and their aides that walk through here and are reminded again. You know, sometimes you come into Georgia and you go, yes, we have a lot of agriculture, but this really puts it into perspective as far as the different commodity commissions and the organizations, allied organizations that are represented here. It just reminds them of how important it is and what a big impact it has on the state in general, and how it's worthy of their attention and regard as far as we look at legislation that's on the table.
The day is also set aside to recognize winners in the 2016 Flavor of Georgia Food Product Contest conducted by UGA.
Most of these folks go on to be very successful. We're happy to welcome them into the Georgia Grown program, get the brand established, and then go out to retail with it.
You can find a list of this year's winners on our website, that is gfb.org/AgDay16.
Well, you got to stay tuned for this. Up next, Kenny tries to avoid getting egg on his face. No, really, actual eggs. Kenny and Marcia take on the omelet in this month's Meals from the Field. That is next when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues. All right, the Georgia Farm Monitor continues. Gary Black, he is now serving his second term as Georgia's 16th Ag Commissioner, and recently we sat down with the commissioner to get his thoughts on how he has spent time serving in that capacity.
It's still fun to kind of go in a place that's not agriculture. That's what I really enjoy, because it's our ambassador or our missionary opportunity of going into an urban or suburban political meeting or civic club type of situation where you can engage with somebody, and as I've had it happen scores of times, is that's great. But I can't vote for you. I'm not a farmer, and people literally. Still, many Georgians today, even though we've done a pretty good job, I think, of getting the word out, but you still have resident Georgians don't even know this is a constitutional office. So I take that as a challenge. I mean, it's a great opportunity to say, well, no, it's this and this and this and this, and we affect more Georgians than probably any other agency any day. And it's just it's amazing to see the light come on with people, and people say, well, wow, this is an important step, because it's nothing different than anything I've ever done, and I owe that to starting a career at Farm Bureau and going to district meetings late at night and coming home and then getting up and going again. So there's a lot of Farm Bureau memories in everything that I do throughout the course of any week. In this business particularly, it's really important to focus on the day. Try to do a good job today. And meet the objectives of the year, rather than this is not a term limited thing, but I think you have to make sure that there are a lot of people that have had jobs like this that stay way too long. I want to make sure that we accomplish some objectives and don't.
Welcome back to the Georgia Farm Monitor. Hey, it's Kenny Burgamy over here in the kitchen with Marsha Crowley today, home economist specialist. Good to have you.
Nice to have you, Kenny.
Got Ray back over there at the desk.
Yeah.
This has been so much of a dream of mine, because
really?
because I see you and Ray do all this fun
It's so
stuff.
fun.
Yeah, and great food.
It's really fun.
And
really
so,
good food.
With springtime, Easter, and things like that going on, you've got something really special today.
We're doing eggs.
You've never done eggs?
We've never done eggs before, and Georgia's the #1 egg producer. Don't ask me why. We just never did.
Well, tell me what you've got going for us here
today.
today.
We're going to do an omelet. Now, I did 2 of these before y'all got here, and they were perfect. So hopefully this will be good too.
And I love omelets.
They're so easy.
Yeah.
All right, this is two eggs, large eggs, and we're going to add to that about a tablespoon of water. You can add milk, but that tends to brown a little quickly. We've got some salt and pepper in there. All right, I'll try not to ding the dishes too much.
And with Georgia being #1 with eggs, this is a natural.
It's a natural. And omelets are so easy to make. Let me make sure I've got this. All right, we're going to pour that into I think this is an 8-inch omelet pan.
Okay. Can you really mess up an omelet?
You can make it scrambled eggs if it messes up, so it's a no fail.
You can save it.
You can save it,
sure.
Yeah. All right, you can put that in the 8-inch pan, and once it starts to harden a little bit, you keep moving the eggs back to your right.
Okay. I don't think I've done mine that way before, but that's a good tip.
How do you do yours?
I constantly stir.
Well, that would work too.
Okay, okay.
That would work too. All right, let's get this a little bit hotter. And omelets are such a good use if you've got a little bit of this and a little bit of that in the refrigerator.
Throw it in.
Throw it in. And rule of thumb with a 2-egg omelet is a total of 1/4 cup of stuff.
Okay.
All right, let's turn this up a little bit.
And is it important for the 2 large eggs? The larger the egg, the better? Is that any kind of special?
I had some medium eggs in my refrigerator at home, and I cracked a medium egg and a large egg in the bowl, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Really? Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not an expert. So there may be something other than the size that I'm not looking for. But
no pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. All right, that's starting to.
Yeah, it's looking good.
That's hardened a little bit.
And what is your favorite omelet, by the way?
My favorite omelet is probably a bacon, cheese, pepper, onion, but we're doing ham today because
ham.
Easter. You're going to have maybe some leftover ham.
Right.
All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the cheese in first, obviously.
Yeah.
And you put it on the left-hand side.
Okay. And tell us why.
Because when you flip it, you're going to flip it this way. Now, if you're left-handed, you would do it opposite.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Easy to do.
All right, we got the cheese in there, starting to melt.
Omelet's okay, like for nighttime if you do a breakfast at night, for instance.
Absolutely, you can do an omelet. In fact, now that I'm retired, when the TV's on, I try to keep up to date on what's going on with cooking trends.
Right.
And breakfast for dinner seems to be the big thing now.
We enjoy that at our house.
Come home from dinner, I mean from work, and all right.
That's looking really good.
It's looking good, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Smelling good too.
Harden up just a little bit more.
I like that. Any particular ham you're using here?
I am just using one that's already cooked, that you buy one of the spiral ones in the store. But you could use bacon, you can use, you can put salsa in here, you can use Italian sausage, which is what we're going to use in our quiche that's coming up next. All right, let's see if I can do this without breaking. Flip that over.
Oh, that's nice. Good move.
And
good
turn
move.
that off so we don't burn ourselves.
Ray said you were pretty good at this.
Did he really? He's never seen me make an omelet. You should just put that over your plate right there, and that is a perfect omelet.
Gosh, that looks good.
Doesn't
Smells
that look
so good too.
All right, quickly we're going to make a quiche, which is another thing you can use if you have just a little bit of stuff in your refrigerator.
Okay.
This is a cup of milk, 3 eggs.
3 eggs.
Mix those together.
I've never done quiche.
You have never done quiche.
Never.
You don't even need a crust. With a crust, it's better, but you don't need the extra calories. Mix that up. Beat those eggs in there real good.
Okay.
All right, and you need a cup of filling.
All right.
Whatever combination you want.
And
this
you've got
Italian sausage, red pepper, and onion.
Ooh, love some sausage.
I love sausage, and it's.
And Italian sausage.
Italian sausage is even better. We're doing the
Great
Italian
taste.
sausage in honor of Ray not
That's
being
right.
here. How's that?
Yep.
All right, we got that. Let me spread that around a little bit.
Okay.
Bottom of a greased pie plate. Like I said, you can use a crust if you want. You pour the egg, milk, spice mixture on top of that.
That's looking good.
Actually, you're supposed to put half the cheese, but it's not going to matter.
So tell us how long this will take to cook.
This would bake at 350 for about 25 minutes.
Okay.
And if this were a perfect world and I were doing it not in front of a camera, you're supposed to put half of the cheese on top of the filling and the other half on top of the quiche.
And we've got a shot of this finished product too.
Yes, we do, but this is not going to mess it up.
All right. Marcia, thank you so much, and thanks for being so gracious to have me in today. It's good seeing you here.
Thanks for coming,
and I
Kenny.
can't wait to take a bite of this. If you want to take a look at this recipe or any of the recipes that Marcia's done here on Meals from the Field, visit the website gfb.org. Look for recipes. Have a great one. Back to you, Ray.
Kenny, Marcia, great job, guys. When we come back, see for yourself how the Lovejoy City Garden is sharing the fruits and vegetables of its labor with the community and the elderly. Stay tuned.
My name is Bobby Cartwright, and I'm the mayor and the founder of the Lovejoy Garden, and I would like to welcome you to Lovejoy. We found a need, there's such a need for produce here, fresh local produce, as an alternative for the seniors. So it started out kind of a senior thing for me, senior minded, because they were having to choose between food and medicine, and they don't have enough money. So this thing just exploded. Now it's 14 acres, 4th year in production, coming into our 2nd year with a little store front that we've done. The citizens in Lovejoy get an ID card, and they get upwards of $20 a month free here just for being a citizen of Lovejoy. The Clayton County residents get a wholesale break on produce here because we use some Clayton County funding to help us. We don't turn away the outside surrounding area. We're still at wholesale with them as well. first year production, a couple of 100,000 pounds. Last year, closer to 400,000. We see 100 to 150 people a day in the little store. And it's amazing at real wholesale what $20 will buy. You can't tote it in fresh vegetables. And I have chickens here, and we have eggs, and no matter how things are politically every day or how things are with my private businesses or even my personal life, I got a place that I can go to and get on a tractor or dig in the dirt and help folks, and it has been astounding at the results.
And next week on The Monitor, we'll have much more on the City Garden, including plans for possible expansion and where Mayor Cartwright would like to see the garden 5 years from now. Finally today, with farmers relying more and more on technology and research, it's becoming vital to attract students interested in math, science, and even engineering.
That was the purpose of a recent field day in Conyers, where high school students involved in the STEM program got an up-close look at the diversity of agriculture. Damon Jones was there, and he has the story.
Less than 20 miles east of all the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, hundreds of high school students got an up-close look at life on the farm, thanks to an agri-science and natural resource field day in Conyers. It provided them an opportunity to get out of their normal surroundings.
Nearly 70% of the students are located within a suburban or city environment. Students today do not get the opportunity to go out and interact with nature and natural resources.
And much of this event was hands-on, as they got to touch animals and even plant their own tomatoes. It's the type of experience that will give them a full appreciation of where their food and fiber come from.
You know, you can really get a feel on what it's really about, rather than just going through this maze of grocery stores to their kitchen, you know, and the restaurants, and then really what makes it all happen.
Each of these students are involved with the STEM program, which places an emphasis on science, math, and technology. It's just the type of kids the agricultural industry is now looking to attract.
Most of the time when people hear about agriculture and natural resources, they only look at the fields and the crops, picking the cotton and planting the fields. But there's a lot of science and technology. There's a new biotechnology, geos, and a lot of monotechnology.
One of the main ways to get these kids more involved in agriculture is to show them just how diverse the industry really is.
In order to get more students interested in agriculture, we invite them here today so they can get an opportunity to speak with people that in the agriculture environment, in the forestry environment, in the soil environment, in the people that work with USDA.
While not all these students will choose agriculture as a career, it's still critical they get information straight from the source.
That really carries over when you think about it into the kids. You want them to know about that. That's very important to them to understand what is going on. So it is a rural agricultural thing, but we here in a metropolitan area have a responsibility to let them know what's going on from the agriculture and from our perspective as well.
As for what they hope these more than 200 students take away from this event,
I think they go home with an appreciation of really what's going on, but I think more important than that is to enlighten them to look at more studies, to get out involved more.
And this could be just the beginning of events like this, as they become more important than ever as generations move further and further away from the farm.
It is very important that we reach out and bring our young youth into agriculture and technology, because as the schools advance, they are getting away from agriculture and technology.
Reporting from Conyers, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
One quick note before we go. Georgia cotton growers have voted to renew the marketing order for Georgia cotton. That vote, an 87% approval. The assessment remains at $1 a bale.
That's it for us. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Hope you have a great week, everybody.